Ever since I was younger, I was into video games.
Somebody like the Fuse so I can bring bad news to all these crews who can't NBA jam with the shoes.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another beer review. First review from this brewery on this channel. Lost Nation Brewing. They are in Vermont, Morrisville, Vermont. This is their Mosaic IPA. I wanted to review this because it's got some age on it. I got this in a beer trade from my buddy Brenndan. Thank you so much for sending this, my man. And I was telling him, it's funny, even like before I took a break from trading, when I was trading beers, it was cool. Like the last, I want to say 2 or 3 boxes that I got, people sent this beer as an extra. And I always, for whatever reason, brought it somewhere to share beers, so I never got to review it. And I really, really like this beer. I don't know how many people are like into Lost Nation. I do. I really, really dig this beer. So I told him, like, it's funny that you sent this as an extra because people have been sending it and we've really been enjoying it. So you guys know I always talk about how I don't freak out about age in my beers. We joke about hashtag Team Old IPA. This one was canned on December 21st. So we're what, 10 weeks old? I mean, everyone usually says to drink hoppy beers within 90 days, right? So we're still within the 12 weeks. But everyone freaks out about having their beers really, really young and really fresh. So this is 10 weeks old, admittedly. So we're not going to be harsh on it, but I wanted to drink it and just share my thoughts on it with you guys to see if the old thing that I always say about not freaking out about crazy fresh beers is a real thing. So let's do it. We are sharing, so we won't give ourselves a boss pour. So yeah, it's like that. I can smell it. I'm telling you, canned beers are where it's at. I was talking to my uncle about canned beers the other night. He called on my birthday, actually, and he was saying how he doesn't like, he thinks it's kind of a mental thing. He's not a big fan of beer that are in cans. For me, canned beer is where it's at. And just this beer is almost, I mean, it's 2.5 months old, and it's sitting here, and I can still smell it. Beer, in my opinion, in cans, it holds up so much better. It travels better. I mean, there's no light that's getting into it. There's no chance of air getting into it, like under a cap. I think it stays better longer. So we'll see. But yeah, it's that light kind of lemonade color. I mean, we poured it really, really easy, so there's not a whole lot of head. Quarter finger, bright white. This is 5.5%, by the way, which is kind of weird because I always like thought of IPAs like in the 6 to 7% range, but this says IPA and it's 5.5%. So let's go ahead and shove our nose in it, see what it smells like. Yeah, so it's Mosaic. It's that blueberry thing. It's citrusy too. I will say this has a very strong bready aspect to it. Definitely isn't there when it's really, really fresh. But you're still getting that really green, herbaceous, blueberry Mosaic thing. This has some dankness to it, and the last couple Mosaic beers I've drank didn't have that earthy kind of dank thing. It's been so blueberry forward, and I think that's just a freshness thing. As these beers might age, that blueberry note might kind of fall off a little bit, and you get like that. I was always used to Mosaic being like really green, dank, herbaceous, and that's here. But yeah, I mean, it still smells. It smells really hoppy. It smells bright. It smells vibrant. I mean, it's not leaping out of the glass by any means, but it smells great. So let's go ahead and see what it tastes like. Brenndan, cheers, bro. Thank you. I mean, it's still, listen, this is not anywhere near as Mosaic forward as a can that might be 2 or 3 weeks old, but it's still plenty flavorful, if that makes sense. The taste is following the nose. You're getting that just green, awesome, grassy, herbaceous. Just think like it's earthy. And there's an awesome, just the bitterness just kind of bites at your tongue, sits right in the middle of your tongue. And then on the finish, you're getting those sweet, like blueberry, tropical, fruity, kind of citrusy notes. This beer holds up fantastic. Like I said, it's not as explosive as it is when it's fresh, just because I've had this beer at like 2 weeks old, and I've had it at like 3.5 weeks old or somewhere around there. At 10 weeks, it's still drinking great. You would be stoked with this beer. This was an extra. This is fantastic. So don't freak out about if you're drinking beer that's, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. I know they're not going to be the same as when they're fresh, but they're not drain pours. It's nothing to like throw out. This beer's still great. I will say, 5.5%. The mouthfeel on this can is a little on the thinner side, but I mean it's a low ABV beer. You don't need to be chewing on it. This is a beer that you'd be crushing. I mean the weather's warm today. If I had a couple of these, I would just open these. I mean it's 5.5%. You're not going to get hammered drinking them. You just sit out in the backyard in the sun and just drink these and be stoked on it. Like I said, this is still plenty flavorful. The hops are still there. They faded a little bit. On the finish, you're getting this killer like. I think these beers are much more balanced with some age on them. I know people love like that crazy fruit juice explosion that really fresh beers have, but when you let them sit and mellow out, it kind of becomes a more balanced beer. There's still the fruitiness to it. You're still getting all the hops, but you're getting that killer like bready, malty, like just Nathan says it. It's the table that the hops sit on, but it's not overpowering. And not that really fresh beer is a bad thing. I mean, it's fun to drink really fresh beer and just be like, holy crap, that's extremely hoppy, it's extremely fruity, it's extremely, just bursting, just crazy flavorful. But stuff like this, it's fun. I like it. I'm more than stoked drinking this beer at 10 weeks old. It's fantastic. So don't be scared of older beers. They're really, really good still. So we won't grade this just because I'm kind of not caring about grades right now. I just want to enjoy beers and kind of talk about them. And plus, I mean, it's almost 3 months old. So if someone were to grade this like at a week old and say it's, high 90s, this beer's not high 90s, but this beer's fucking awesome. It's really, really good. It's very easy drinking and it's very, very tasty. So that is Lost Nation Mosaic IPA. If you guys have had it, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. If you guys have one right now, let it sit. Wait for 10 weeks, drink it, and then leave a comment on this video and let me know what you thought of it. So I'm out of here, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you very soon. Cheers.
Ever since I was younger, I was into video games.
Somebody like the fuse so I can bring bad news to all these crews who can't NBA jam with the shoe.